G'day guys, Stewie here from Dougie Boats Tackle World, down here on the Gold Coast, doing the fishing report for this week, the 31st of October, and into November, the 1st and the 2nd. So guys, this year is rocketing past. This last week's been very strange. Monday, we saw really hot temperatures. Tuesday, a lot cooler, lots of rain, and obviously, it's kind of transitioning into that summer period with a few afternoon storms. So what does that do? It stirs the fishing up. So guys, look, this week, guys, the weather has been a bit unsettled, as I said, and leading into next week, it looks the same. So what are we expecting? Well, so they say on the weather report. Tomorrow, which is Friday the 31st, looks pretty decent. So a lot of customers coming in through the shop today, lots looking to head out wide, chasing things like yellowfin tuna and blue marlin, trolling out there nice and wide, and finding that nice, clean, warm water out there that's out there at the moment. Apart from that, guys, obviously lots of inshore fishing to be had as well. So weather on Saturday doesn't look the best, around about 15 knots from the north apparently, and it does drop out through the day, and then Sunday looks a little bit better as well. The sad part is any wind that we are getting in over that weekend period is coming from the north, and look, it's definitely not ideal. What we'll do, we'll start offshore as we normally do, work our way in. So out wide, guys, that current's definitely starting to pick up. This time of year, that East Australian current starts to really crank, and so makes deep dropping quite hard out in that 200 to 500 meter type of area, but you can still definitely troll in it. So larger type of skirts, bibless hard bodies, bibbed hard bodies chasing yellowfin and stuff like that, if the schools are down a little bit deeper, definitely worth a shot. Try to have a look at the currents before you do head out there. Try to get a break in the current where you'll have a temperature break, or if you've got rip charts or something like that, definitely have a look around that zero line, and that's where you're going to find bait, and in terms out there is a big ocean. So if you can find the bait, you'll definitely find the fish hanging around it. In a little bit closer around that 100 to 130 type of stuff. Still been lots of quality pearlies being caught out there, guys. The current's been up and down. So in that little bit closer, a lot of the time it doesn't run quite as hard as out wider. So might be, say, running 2 to 3 knots out wide, like around that 150 plus. Inside, you might get a little bit of a break from it. So you might just be on the edge. So you might still be able to do some bottom fishing. Obviously, the weather being so unsettled and a little bit average this week, we haven't heard of heaps, but the last week or so, or week previous, there was a couple of good days. Has been some good pearlies, as we were saying, out in that 115 metre type of depth, and definitely up the northeast 50s, still been plenty of kingies and amberjacks. So one of our favourite ways to get them is definitely jigging. We mention it every week. Just got another big restock of the Slash smooth reactors. So quite a long, skinny profile jig, flat-sided, easy to use. And these things, the kingies absolutely love them. So definitely worth having a look up around there. Even if you are looking to push a little bit wider while that weather's good, possibly tomorrow or Sunday, definitely worth having a little bit of a stop off there on the way if you're heading northeast. Have a sound around. If there's a bit of life just off the bottom, good chance that they are a kingy school down there. Send one of those jigs down, or any other jig, and definitely give it a crack. Hold on, because they fight pretty hard all the way to the top, and there has been a few sharks up there too. So you get them up, got to get them up reasonably quick. In a little bit closer now, guys, around the 36 fathom line, still been plenty of quality snapper. So look, float lining this time of year still works great. Obviously out around the 36s, we're using a little bit heavier gear than what we would say on the 18s or 24s in terms of sinker size, just to get it down there. And a lot of the time we just float line with, say, PE 1.5 or PE 2 braid, nice long 30-pound leader, or a lot of guys are reverting back to that straight through mono, around about that 20 or 30 pound straight through. What's new this week? Well, we've got plenty of new stuff, but while we're talking about the float lining for snapper, the little mustard ganged hooks are starting to come through. So they're a little fine wire game hook, dressed, ready to go, swivels in between, really easy to put a pilly or a squid on there, or a bit of flesh bait, and that added little attractant of that dressing works a treat. I've used these up on the reef the other week when I was up there. I got some samples pretty early on, And these things are really good quality, and they definitely catch a fair few more fish than just a standard 2-hook gang. Again, when we're fishing out there, a little bit of added attractant's always good. So the little Lumo glow-in-the-dark sinkers, just had a really big restock of these little fellas as well, guys. These things walk out the door super quick. Really tough coating on these ones. So there has been others that are a little bit, they chip and stuff like that, but we always stock the good quality ones, and they can withstand days at sea in the tackle box, and you pull them out and they look like brand new, not even a chip on them. So these are fantastic, definitely worth having in the box. While you're out around that 36 fathom depth, still a few fads out there at the moment. They're not all back in yet, guys, by what I've heard, but there are a couple in. Definitely worth having a bit of a look around. When you're sounding, looking for your snapper schools and stuff, chuck a couple of skirts out, because there's a few dolphin fish around those fads, and this time of year, skirts generally work pretty darn well. So there are a couple from Fat Boy, little 6-inch type size. As you can see, I've picked out some pretty bright ones. So dolphin fish definitely like that brighter color. If there's any little marlin in the vicinity as well, they'll jump on it, as will tuna, any of those pelagic type species. But the little Fat Boy ones, quality skirts, good quality heads, and they swim. They're easy to use. So they're fantastic. We'll just rig them on a little light wire hook, and you'll have a really good hookup, and they'll definitely stay stuck through the fight. Coming back in a little bit closer now, guys. Around the 24s, been some good quality catches around there this week as well. Still plenty of cobia for the guys that have a live bait out there while they're doing a bit of snapper fishing. Obviously, snapper have still been pretty good. Float line and pillies have been working quite well. Fillets of yakkers or slimies if you can catch some out there. And definitely soft plastic. So 4 to 5 inch type soft plastics, light jig heads around that 3/8 to ½ ounce in that 50 meters, and big long cast up current and fish it down. So don't be afraid to fish quite erratically for them, and then feed it back down to it. And that little bit faster action this time of year seems to be getting a little bit better results. So as opposed to just your slow teabagging technique that used to work, say during winter or something like that. I like that little bit more action for whatever reason. Still some good trag around there, and some good tuskies and bottom fish as well, and the odd good pearly as well. So great to see. In a little bit closer around the 18s, again, still some cobia around the 18s, still some snapper. We had a couple of customers head out there today, get some good quality snapper in around that 30 to 42 meter type of depth. So that's around that 18 type fathom, and they're good just fishing plastics during the middle of the day. So the boys who got out there, they definitely do a fair bit of it. They're quite good at it, but they always get consistent results. So a lot of people just drive over those in close grounds thinking that it's been hit pretty hard, which, you know what, it does get a fair bit of boat traffic, but there's still plenty of good fish to be had around that area. So definitely worth having a look if you see some life on the sounder on the way out. In a little bit closer again, still been a few longtails around, and obviously mac tuna schools and stuff like that. Look for them feeding around the bait. You can spin little metals through there, and or troll little hard bodies, and you'll catch quite a few doing that as well. Moving into the Broadwater now, guys. Up the pin end, last of the run out tide of the morning, so great time to chase some flatties. I'd definitely be having a look around those holes and channels around the tipplers type of area. So around Shitter's Ditch, not too bad. Big run out drain there. Throwing small soft plastics, so 3 to 4 inch type of size, guys. And there are a couple of little ones that have just been tried and proven. They work great. Little S-Tackle rattle minnow in the pink candy and the gold bull. Really good plastic, nice and durable, and they've got that sound. I don't know if you can hear that, but look, in that dirty water as well, they seem to get that little bit better bite just because of that sound, I think. So bit of S-Factor on them, or any other scent that you've got going on at the time, and just throw it up current into those little drains. Make sure you've got a bit of contact with the bottom, couple of little short hops, and just wind up that slack all the way back to the boat. As well, once that tide turns, been a fair few good tailor around the pin bar. You'll see them feeding on the little baitfish schools as they come through on that cleaner water line. And as well, been some good whiting around Kalinga. So run in, tide, Kalinga, push up in the shallows, and just fish lightly weighted yabbies and worms. Been catching quite a few. Again, in the lagoons up the pin end as well have been quite a few whiting up there as well. So that low tide, first of the run-in tide, definitely worth having a look as those whiting start to move up into the shallows and forage for food. Throw your unweighted yabbies if you're in those lagoons, and you'll definitely catch yourself a good feed of decent whiting, and you'll probably get a few brim and flatties doing the same thing. That turn of the tide as well, low tide, nice and early in the morning. Around the pin bar itself, if you can get some liveys or big soft plastics, definitely been a few dewies around as well. Some quality size ones up there as well. Average is a little bit better than the seaway size, so average around 70 to say 95 centimetres, and they've definitely been along that deeper stretch out the front of Swan Bay. While we're up that way, I'd definitely be having, if you're a crabber, put your crab pots in around the mouth of the Logan and some of those little feeder creeks around Cabbage Tree Point type of area. All that rain that we had on Tuesday, we copped a lot. So it's definitely going to push a lot of crabs out and start getting them on the move. If we get that little bit of rain that we've got forecast in the next couple of days as well, that's just going to continue pushing them out. So definitely worth putting your pots at the mouths of some of those creeks. Still been a few threadies up the backwaters as well, guys. So Logan River's been not too bad. Up under the power lines heading up to Russell and around Cabbage Tree itself. Still been a few threadies. Try to find them on your side scan if you can. There's a lot of water in between them, but when you are finding them, you generally find them in a school, and throw little vibes or lightly weighted live baits and stuff like that at them, and yeah, be sure to be ready because they hit pretty hard. Down a little bit further south now, so around the Aldershots type of area, still been some good crabs around there just before the rain, so it's only going to get better. Sandies and muddies just around the edges of the channels there and around the oyster leases. And a little bit further south, so down around Sovereign Island and the mouth of the Coomera and up around Sanctuary Cove and that type of area, definitely been a few mangrove jacks. So all of these southern canals, or middle canals, say, around Runaway Bay, Sovereign, like I said, Coomera, definitely have jacks this time of year, and definitely down in the Nerang as well. So what would I be throwing at them? I'd probably be throwing little hard bodies like these little duos. They're just in. These ones are the Barra tuned ones. Barra, jacks, they all fight pretty hard. So these ones here come with a heavier hook, decoy hooks and rings, through wire construction. We've just got the colour range in store. They look great and they swim true out the packet. So great little lure. Great for suspending down in the dams and stuff like that. If you do a dam trip away for barras, they will slowly float in salt water just because of the density of the water. But they work absolutely fantastically. And look, they've done the lure before just in a less heavy option, and it was a great jack lure once you upgraded it. Now it's turnkey off the shelf. So come in and check out those ones if you are passing by over the weekend. Again, down this way, guys, Crab Island, been a fair few flatties around there still been some good bait, and that early morning low tide's definitely perfect tide to troll the edges. So got these little silly fish lures. They've actually just come in. The guys from Silly Fish fished the Flatty Classic. I caught quite a few fish as well. A little bit different design. These are brand new. Solid polycarb bib, so it's going to hit and it's going to bounce up all that sand as it's swimming. Quite a unique shape, a little bit chunkier than some of the traditional troll lures, but these things are going to smash it, and they've got an awesome colour range. So that pink colour there, or even this little fella here, a little chartreuse one, those little fellas, they're going to smack it. So come in, check out those as well, just some of the new stock that we've got this last week. So around Crab Island, around, say, that northern bank just north of Wave Break, I think it's Carter's, trolling the weed edge around there on the low tide, not too bad. Once that tide pushes up, troll over the shallow weed flats with those or very similar stuff, and you should pick up some flatties. And you get the odd tailor and brim and trevally and stuff there this time of year as well. Again, while we're down this end, wide in, back a Wave Break and around Carter's as well. When that tide starts pushing in, again, fish that freshly flooded bank, and all those banks out the front of Aqua work quite all right as well, the Grand. What type of hooks would we be using? Small stuff. So small, thin wire, so they definitely set the hooks really good on those whiting because they do pick it up and play with it a little bit. You want something that goes in nice and easy. Those mustard Aberdeen size 6, great little hook if you're going to maybe use some worms or smaller yabbies. If you're using that larger size yabbies, I'll just use those Shinto size 6 long shanks. Color wise, doesn't matter if they're black or red, but they're a great little hook. Sharp is the key. So as we push a little bit further south, up the Nerang, again, been some good quality catches of whiting up there as well on that run out tide around the back of the council chambers. Again, yabbies or worms have been working pretty good. Worms are preferable if you can get them. Doesn't matter if they're fresh beach worms or cured ones, they all work very similar. So we have cured ones in the store here, ready to go. If it's a bit of a last minute trip and you can't go down and dig some off the beach, or if the tide's wrong to get some down the beach, just swing past. They're preserved, so you can actually have them in your freezer ready to go for when you're ready. So that's a great option. Again, some good jacks up the Nerang as well, fishing those pontoons. You can either troll or cast them, same type of thing. And there's been some really good quality brim up those little side canals as well off the main river. So surface fishing for brim this time of year is a great fun way to do it, particularly if there's a little bit of wind around and you can't get out and about in the Broadwater. Throw some little surface lures like those little skipping prawns that Samaki does now. Around the pontoons, around the little sandy points in the canals, and these things are going to smash it. So brim, you get the odd flatty on surface, still the odd jack on this little stuff. You're using lighter gear, so sometimes you land those jacks. They don't fight as hard, and definitely trevally. So keep an eye out for the bait, little prawns flicking around, and throw these little prawn imitation skipping prawns around as well, and you'll definitely catch a few. Apart from that, guys, the beach fishing has been not too bad. Plenty of whiting, dart, and sea bream in those shallow gutters around Phillip Park type area and down around Nerang. It is pretty hard because obviously they are still sand pumping, and that sand's forever shifting around, but it does stir up the bottom a bit and create a bit of a bite in the process. Again, freshwater, I haven't heard of too much this last week. Been a few wild bass kicking around in the creeks up around Coomera and Canungra. Just watch out, guys, if you are fishing them. Sometimes they do have closures on the river themselves, certain sections at certain times, and obviously people's property. So got to watch out for that. If not, the dam's been fishing not too bad. Plenty of bass just around the tree lines and stuff like that. I'll just be using spinner baits, or even rig up your little soft plastic as a beetle spin. So I think I've showed it once or twice in other reports. If you are unfamiliar with it, swing past. One of the guys will definitely be able to help you out and show you what we mean. But just essentially turns your little soft plastic into a spinner bait, a little bit more snag proof, and the bass seem to love it. So guys, that's about it. Solo report for myself this week. Dougie's away. Is away for a bit this time, 3 weeks, and look, for 1 week down, I'll tell you what, geez, it was easy without him. Guys, hopefully you catch a couple and swing past and get some info, grab some bait, and we look forward to hearing your next fishing story. Thanks guys, see ya, bye.